My friends, this is Dr. B, the best doctor in medicine and the most caring doctor in medicine. Dr. B wants to remind you that after more than 30 years at high level in medicine, Dr. B genuinely loves you and Dr. B genuinely cares about you. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. Dr. B today wants to bring you again another bad news of a very young athlete who died just a couple of weeks ago, a high level, right, ultra long distance crazy athlete who died very young in this Ironman triathlon in Texas. Right now, October 20, mid-October, it's about, I think, the 10th or 11th or 12th, doesn't matter. I was on call, I apologize. I forgot the exact date today. But a few days ago, this poor athlete, 1 week or a couple of weeks ago, 31-year-old man, right? Running and biking and swimming in this freaking Ironman triathlon in Texas. He suddenly collapsed in the race while he was swimming, so it was the swim part, and he died of what we call a sudden cardiac death. SCD means his heart was beating so fast, so crazy fast, that the heart suddenly gave up. It went into what we call in medicine, ventricular fibrillation, which is a severe malignant arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat, and you just collapse and you die, and there's nothing can be done unless, of course, they resuscitate you. But the guy was swimming in the middle of the earth. By the time they put him out of the water, the guy, he was already brain dead at the age of 31. My heart cries. I cry in my heart when I see young people pushing themselves beyond the limits of what their heart is made for. The heart of a human being is not made to run ultra long distance. The heart of a human being is not made to run a marathon, a pentathlon, a triathlon, a decathlon, or whatever the katso you want to call it. The heart of a human being is made to run, to bike, to exercise, to push yourself to reasonable limit based on your conditioning. But you should never, ever, ever think that your heart can do some superhuman and suprahuman stuff, right? And this poor guy collapsed of sudden cardiac death. This individual, this young man who was the father of 2 or 3 kids, I forgot, I read the news, I forgot, it inspired me, so that if you are a long distance runner, you be careful. And this person, if he had on himself a cardiovascular smartwatch, the cardiovascular smartwatch would have definitely told him that he's going beyond his maximum heart rate that is accepted for his age, which is 220 minus your age. So this gentleman who was 30 years young, he never should have gone beyond 190 beats per minute. And if he had programmed his smartwatch to give him an alert if he goes beyond 190, right? 220 minus age is the formula. So he was about 30, 31. Let's say he's 30 years young. He should have programmed his smartwatch to give him an alarm if he goes beyond 220 minus 30, which is 190 beats per minute. But most probably he was at 200, 230, 250, right? And he suddenly collapsed because his heart gave up. So, unfortunately, it is another, because every freaking week, not just in the US, but all over the world, we hear almost every day Some athlete, long distance bikers or freaking marathon, half marathon, blah, 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 that are pushing their body beyond what their heart is made for. Everybody is different. You're going to see the guy running 50 marathon and never having any problem, right? But everybody's different, right? And you never know how much can your heart accept, right? The best is to stay away from ultra long distance running. The best is to not do this pentathlon and triathlon and decathlon and half marathon. Why don't you run just a 10K? Why don't you run just a 5K? Why don't you just bike 10K instead of biking 50K? Right? What is it that people want to show? What is it that people want to prove to themselves or their friends and their family? What is this pleasure that people have to push their body to the limit? Right? Unless, of course, you make money out of it. If you're a professional marathon runner, go ahead, take the chance, take the risk. It's like being a professional race car driver, right? It's your job. Okay, then go 300 miles an hour on the racetrack. But if it's not your job, why would you rent a Ferrari and go do 300 miles an hour on a freaking racetrack with the risk of dying? Or if you don't die, you just become paralyzed. It's just not worth it. So if you're not running a marathon or a pentathlon or a decathlon to make money and feed yourself and your family, why do you do that? What is this pleasure that people have to push themselves to the limit? What is that for? And remember, and I can bring you any study you want, and they have all been published on the Medline, right? On the PubMed Medline, National Library of Medicine. Every study has proven that there is no benefit in running ultra long distance compared to running long distance. Means running 10K, right, compared to running 40Ks, right? It's the same benefit, except that 40Ks is higher risk. And one of the risks, again, I repeat, is sudden cardiac death because you are pushing your heart to the limit. There is absolutely no reason to do that. No health care benefit to you other than putting your body at risk and, of course, making your wife or your husband a widow and leaving your kids behind, your family mourning you like this poor little guy, 31 years young, at the Ironman triathlon in Texas just a few days or a couple of weeks ago. I forgot. I was on call last night. I apologize. My brain might not be as sharp as it usually is. So for all of you guys who still are stubborn, despite seeing what happens to these people who are pushing themselves to the limit, if you still want to insist and run long distance or ultra long distance, my recommendation is to run less long distance, run 5Ks or maybe 10Ks and get it over with, and then finish, go to the gym and push weight and lift weight, or do some meditation, or do some yoga, or do swimming, or do something else. Why do you keep running after you already ran 10Ks? What else do you want, for God's sake? Do something else. If you still insist, I recommend that you really invest money in a cardiovascular smartwatch and you program it so that it gives you an alarm. If your heart rate reaches 220 minus your age, it shouldn't go above that, because then you are at higher risk of developing sudden cardiac death and collapsing in the middle of the race or the decathlon or the freaking bike race or blah, blah, blah. Invest money in that stuff. Make sure you have a consultation with a cardiologist. Dr. B works in the beautiful cardiology clinic in this beautiful but expensive city of Mountain View, California. Every week I receive 2 or 3 young men and women who come for a clearance, high-level athlete clearance, we call that, high-level athlete clearance. These are young people in their 20s or 30s. We get some of them in their 40s for some reason, the guy, or 50s even. I had one, I think, 2 years ago. In his late 50s, he wants to start to prepare for a marathon. The guy had retired from high tech, and I don't know, the guy wants to kill himself. He has nothing else to do. I mean, isn't there anything else to do than preparing yourself for a marathon because he got all the money and everything he needed? He has done it. No, so now he's like, oh, why not do a marathon? Okay, why not? So we receive people and we give them this clearance. Dr. B checked their heart with the ultrasound system. Dr. B, an expert in cardiovascular imaging, and then we put them on a treadmill. We do a stress test. So we do all this and we give them the clearance for high-level athlete. So make sure before you engage in a long distance or ultra long distance that you have a consultation, not with a family doctor. They don't understand any cazzo about all this, right? You need to ask your family doctor to refer you to a cardiologist. Only a cardiologist can give you a clearance for high-level athlete. And then Dr. B will also check your heart, and I will make sure that you don't have any structural heart defects, blah, 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 and then go ahead, start preparing for a marathon or a decathlon, a pentathlon, but make sure at least you invest money on a smartwatch and program the smartwatch so that your maximum heart rate doesn't go beyond that. If it goes, then you need to stop, for God's sake. You need to slow down. It means you're preparing for the freaking half marathon, and in the middle of your half marathon or marathon or blah, 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 your heart rate goes beyond this value, 220 minus your rate. Then you need to slow down and then just stop, because your heart is just not made for that. You're just not conditioned yet. And even you can try to condition yourself for 10 years. Everybody's different. Maybe your heart just doesn't want to be conditioned to run a marathon, right? I have myself no passion at all for long distance running. I like to go to the treadmill. I like to go to the stationary bikes at the gym. I like to swim. I like to do normal aerobic stuff, but I have absolutely no passion, no interest, I don't see fun of pushing my body beyond the limit to try to run a 5K or 10K or 20K or 50Ks. What the cats, or for what? I don't see it. But if this is what you want to do, make sure you have a consultation with a cardiologist. Make sure you buy one of these smartwatches, program it so that your heart rate doesn't go beyond that, and prepare yourself before you run, before you push yourself to the limit. And remember that everybody is different. Maybe your heart is just not made for it. You need to accept yourself, your biology the way it is. The same way my body is not made, my joints are not made to squat 300 pounds. If I try to squat 300 pounds at the gym, I'm going to break my freaking spine and my hips and my knees. My body has, even when I was 20, I wasn't trying to bench press or to squat the more weight. Blah. What is the point? I never saw the point, except destroying your joints and everything, trying to push your body to the limit, right? I love you guys. Dr. B loves you regardless of your gender, your ethnicity, the color of your skin, your religion, your sexual orientation. Dr. B took the Hippocratic Oath more than 30 years ago. And I promised that I will never, ever, ever consider any of your race, religion, sexual orientation, political affiliation. When I say I love you regardless of all that. And I also promised I will never put my interest above yours. Your interest will be always above mine. And I also promised I will always, always bring you the scientific truth, the scientific evidence. I will never, ever do like all this influencer bullshit you with a ton of BS. I will always bring you the science. I love you guys. Thank you for your encouragements. Thank you for your constant support, your messages, even criticism. I love your criticism. It helps me to improve myself, to improve this channel. Thank you for helping me to expand this channel so that I can reach more people, God willing. And put your comments, your question, any cazzo you want to ask. I will answer everybody, including those who criticize me, and I love you all. God bless you. May God keep you always healthy and successful. Also with the help of Dr. B to help you age gracefully And Kopkun Makmak, Kopkun Nakrab, Sawadee Krab, and I hope to talk to you next time. Bye bye.